Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm going to be checking out the Makerfire Armor 90. This is a brushless micro quadcopter and its design feature is that it is strong, hence the name Armor, and it should be fine to fly outside but also very good to fly indoors as well, because we have these removable protectors here as well, which means that if you bash into walls and things, it's not going to damage anything, and it shouldn't fall out of the sky either. So let's take a look at some of the specifications. So it has got 1104 7500 kV brushless motors, so nice high kV motors there. We've got 1935 props. They look very similar to the props on the King Kong series. Then we have got a 4-in-1 10 amp BL Halley S ESC, and then an omnibus flight controller on here with a built-in on-screen display, which is nice. So it's an F3 flight controller, not an F4. One main problem with this setup for flying outside is it does not have a buzzer. Of course, with this being an omnibus, you can fit a buzzer, but that can be quite tricky, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Then we have got this pod on the top here for strength with a sleeve dipole antenna coming out of the top. That is for the camera. So it's a 25 milliwatt 48 channel all-in-one camera. You actually can access the buttons here. So the first button there switches between NTSC and PAL, and you can also flip the image as well. And then we have our channels on here and our bands, so it's a long press to go through the different bands, and you've got lights on the back and then a short press to go through the 8 channels of that band. The only thing is you can't really see the lights very well, and yeah, this is kind of like a design flaw, I would say, because it comes with 2 different receiver options. I went for the DSM-2 version. Now, there's no information online whether it works with DSM-X because it's just saying DSM-2. But I would say don't go for the DSM-2 version. Why? Well, it's got this really terrible tiny antenna. And you have to take all of this apart to get it to bind. And can you see there? To get this top off to reach the receiver, we have got these screws here. They are really difficult to get to, and as they're screwed in underneath, when you tip it that way up to take the top off, all the screws fall out, and with these ducts being here, it's very difficult to screw it all back together. And this is another issue that I find with this model. If you want to add a buzzer, it's going to be tricky getting all of this back together, because to get these ducts off, the motors have to come out. So yeah, I'm expecting poor range from this receiver. It's got a little button on it, so you have to take it all apart anyway. With it being DSM-2, I thought maybe I could put the Spectrum bind command into the CLI on Betaflight. So yeah, it comes with the Betaflight installed on it, I think 3.16. But don't pay too much attention to the version because they stick different versions on these all of the time. But yeah, it's good that it's got Betaflight on there. But yeah, you have to press the button to bind it to your DSM-2 device, which for me is a Tyrannus with an orange RX module in the back. I think it would have been much easier if they put the screws on this side, because yeah, difficult to get them back in. And that, like I say, is what has put me off installing a buzzer on it as well. But let's get back to some good things. We have got a XT30 connector on the battery, which is great considering that it's got an on-screen display, so it's going to be drawing more amps than usual. And then the battery's pretty nice as well. It's 350 milliamp. It is a 2-cell, and it's 60C, which is great because that's what we need when we're drawing all of these amps. The weight is pretty nice, just 85 grams with the battery, and I also like these little rubber straps here to keep the battery in. However, one of them is wearing very thin and I think is going to snap at some point. So yeah, but all in all, yeah, I like it. I would say get the FreeSky version though, which has an XM Plus receiver if you obviously have got a FreeSky transmitter. So let's take a look at the rest of the stuff that you get given in the box. So we've got the instructions here, which are pretty good. It tells you all of the different frequencies there, etc., and the buttons to access, and all the different parts and stuff as well. I don't think there's any Betaflight setup in there, so I'll talk more about that in a bit. We've got a spare set of screws, and that is because you're given a spare set of these ducts, which is nice. So yeah, it's called the Armor, but actually these feel quite flimsy, so I imagine they would break. And also the frame, not the thickest, I can't move it, so yeah, maybe they are testing fate with that name there. But anyways, we have got a balance charger here, so just off the USB, but because it's XT30, I can use my hobby grade charger there. We have got an Allen key. I think that is going to be for the props, and no, is it not even that? No, it doesn't fit the props. Does it fit the motors here? It doesn't fit. Let me see. Am I doing it wrong or what? Let's see if I can. There we go. Yes. So it does fit the motors, and let's see if it fits the props. Yeah, so it does. It fits the props and the motors, which is good because that's what you need it for. However, if you want to take this apart, which you're going to have to, you need a Phillips screwdriver for those under there, and I don't see one of those in the package. So we are given a spare set of these 1.9-inch props, and then we also have got quite a nice micro USB lead that is going to be for configuring Betaflight. And you are also given, I really like the box with this one, nice and shiny. Yeah, they spent time with the box. They also give you a Velcro strap as well, I guess. These are known for snapping. I like them, yeah, but I don't think that back one's going to last very long, so I think they know that because they've provided that for me as well. But I guess if you want to run a bigger battery than this, then, you know, you can, and you can use this with it as well. So let's just talk about Betaflight. It was set up only to have angle mode running, and it armed off the rudder. I've changed that so it now arms off auxiliary 1. I've set up 3 different modes. So I've got angle mode for indoors, and then I've got acro, and then acro and air for flying outdoors. Let's see, I changed my rate from 0.7 to 0.8. That's something that I do, so that's the super rate. I also changed the battery warning. Now, it doesn't have a beeper on here, but it was set to 3.5 volts, and quite quickly the on-screen display battery would flash. So I set that to 2.9 so I can decide when to land myself by looking at the on-screen display there. Now, I also changed around some of the things on the on-screen display as well. It had crosshairs and the horizon. I removed all that and moved my battery stuff around as well. So just standard stuff there. And I also changed the PIDs. I reduced the D down to 22. It was stock Betaflight PIDs, which tends to be too high for these little micros. Okay, let's go for the line of sight with this one just to check out what the punch is like. More than anything, it feels pretty zippy, I have to say. So let's go for it. That's not bad at all for a model that is for flying indoors and outdoors. I mean, that's going to be an insane amount of power for indoors. And then outdoors, it should be nice. See what the tune is like. This isn't the stock tune. I have reduced the D to about 22, I think, but other than that I've kept everything else the same. I tend to find that the stock Betaflight PIDs, which is what this came with, for micros at least, the D's too high and we get a little bit of flutter. I can't hear it with this one. The other thing that you tend to find that you get when you stick prop protectors on, or ducts, whatever you want to call them, is that can upset the tune and the balance as well. So I'll have to see if that is the case when I do FPV with this. They clearly really just want this one to be flown in angle mode. It comes with just angle mode installed, no acro, so have to bear that in mind. And with it not having a buzzer as well, I'm gonna have to be careful how far away I fly it, because we've got such a small antenna for the receiver, so it could lose its signal at any point, and there's no buzzer on there, which I think is a shame. I think if they'd have stuck a buzzer on there, it should have been the absolute complete package. But if you're flying it indoors, you know, then perhaps you don't need a buzzer, although I've used a buzzer indoors before to find something. But so far I like it, it's nice. A strange looking thing, but it does the job. Okay, let's come in for a landing and we'll get some FPV done with it. Yeah, so just as I suspected, the range was absolutely awful with this DSM-2 receiver, which is a shame because it flew so good. In fact, yeah, probably flew one of the best with these ducts on. I think the only other model was the Pico X that flew so great with them on there. But yeah, you'll see in a minute that I pushed the range and then it just fail-safed, and that happened a lot. So then I just kept it in really close and that didn't happen anymore. So yeah, a bit of a shame. So for me, for this one to be a top contender, it needs the XM Plus version. I think at the time when they offered to send me this, that wasn't an option, but it is an option now, so definitely go for that, because that's a full range receiver and that will make a huge difference. The thing is though, without a buzzer and on this grass that can completely bury a model like this, then it's difficult to fly it very far outdoors anyways. So I would say definitely add a buzzer with this, but then it's a pain taking it all apart, and you gotta find space for a buzzer. You could probably fit the buzzer in that pod actually, like route it through the top. I don't know why they didn't do that there. Maybe they just wanted this one for flying indoors, but it flies fantastic outdoors. Very easy to tune, like I say, just reduce the D. And I was really impressed with it. So yeah, it just needs those things changing, and if the manufacturer's listening, just put the screws on the top and then it's easier to take apart. Do away with this DSM-2 receiver because it's terrible range and people are going to want more range than that, and stick a buzzer on it and you've got a fantastic model. So the flight time was pretty good, about 5 minutes, just like it says in the manual. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one, and I'm going to leave you with some flying. I do a bit of indoor flying as well. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.